Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today for the Community Builder Series. My name is Melanie Kloth. I'm the creative lead at Zilker Media, and I'm here today at Austin Pets Alive with Katara Barrett, the Public Relations and Events Manager.
Hello.
Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thank you for coming out and hanging out with me and Janet Jackson.
Janet, it is so nice to meet you.
She is loving this, and I also love whenever people meet her, because I'm like, you're about to meet the Janet Jackson. This is the Janet Jackson. The superstar Janet Jackson was the second one, but she's the first one.
Right. I mean, she's the important one.
Yeah.
It is truly an honor. I'm really excited to talk to you. I am a huge dog lover, and you know, Austin is a really dog-friendly city, but people might not realize that it's actually the largest no-kill city in the country.
It is.
So what role has Austin Pets Alive played in that journey?
Sure. So Austin Pets Alive is kind of the leader of the no-kill movement here in Austin, and acting as one of the leaders of the no-kill movement across the country. So when we were founded in the late 90s, we were just an advocacy organization. At that point, the city of Austin was killing the vast majority of animals who entered shelters.
Wow.
It was something as high as 85% of animals who entered shelters did not leave alive. And so Austin Pets Alive was formed because we knew that we could do better. We knew that the city of Austin has always longed for those resources, and it's a community that absolutely loves its dogs and cats, and the shelters did too, and they wanted to save those animals. They just didn't have the resources at that moment. So for the next 10 years, we worked just as an advocacy group and ended up becoming a rescue organization because we knew that there were demographics of animals who were getting euthanized in shelters. And those demographics were the ones who were forgotten about. And those demographics are the ones that we still take in today. We act as the safety net for animals who would be killed otherwise. You know, pit bulls like Janet Jackson here, who's also a mama, and mamas are also unusually highly killed in shelters. Big dogs, cats with felvie, cats with ringworm, all of those different groups of animals are just euthanized because it takes a little bit extra to make sure that they're healthy and ready to go. But we knew that we could act as that safety net and increase the save rate. And now, you know, 2019, and we're at 98% save rate here in Austin.
98% from 85%, that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's so important. I mean, that's just amazing. And something I think that's really interesting about Austin Pets Alive is the way you guys have taken this model and expanded it to train other cities across the country.
Yeah. So we have American Pets Alive is our educational arm. Miss Janet. She's like, it's hot. American Pets Alive is our educational arm, and they're the ones that do go across the country to help teach the no-kill model. You know, last year there was a distemper outbreak in Odessa, and it was assumed that all 150 dogs at that shelter had distemper. They had never faced something like that before, but luckily American Pets Alive was able to be the boots on the ground and go in and help teach them how to quarantine and test and make sure that those dogs were healthy, and if they weren't, then help figure out how to treat them. And that's one of the things that we do here at APA and with our American Pets Alive team, just to make sure that other groups can do it too, and other shelters are able to become no-kill, and other cities are able to follow our model, and other cities are following suit. You know, we are the largest and longest running no-kill city in the country, but hopefully soon we won't be the largest.
Right.
Hopefully there will be another city who's able to take that over.
That's awesome. I mean, it's so important, and I mean, obviously there are a lot of people that are really passionate about what you guys do. You know, as a nonprofit, I'm sure you don't have a huge staff, but you rely on your volunteer base.
Yeah.
How big is that?
So our volunteer base at any given time is about 2,000 active volunteers.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so basically if you want to get involved at Austin Pets Alive in some capacity, we will find a way for you to get involved. We have volunteers who are just helping us build signs. We have volunteers that volunteer from Alabama and just help us with graphic design. We currently have a Harvard student here helping us build an app. Things like that. And then obviously our most essential shelter work, laundry, cleaning the kennels, cleaning cat litter boxes, and just making sure that these animals are healthy, happy, comfortable, getting walks, getting treatment, finding shade for them. So we would not be able to do what we do without volunteers. We started purely all volunteers as the advocacy organization that we are, and we've been lucky to grow and able to staff now nearly 200 people, part-time and full-time alike. But we would not do nearly as much as we can without our volunteers.
That's incredible. So I actually volunteer myself a couple of times a month, and I've noticed there's, you know, it must be really challenging creating community among those volunteers with people scattered across different states and coming in for different things, working in different parts of the city. How do you guys cultivate community amongst those volunteers?
Sure. So our volunteers, like you said, they can be all over. While the majority of them are in Austin, a lot of them work from home, a lot of them do remote work. And so in order to cultivate community with our volunteer base specifically, we have 2 people who are our volunteer recognition committee. They're absolutely phenomenal. Every month they go ahead and they plan these volunteer meetup days, volunteer appreciation parties. And so every month there's things happening at the ABGB or at Better Half Coffee and Cocktails. And just making sure that they're able to hang out, talk shop as volunteers, and just get that recognition. We also do something called a platinum party every year. So our volunteers who are platinum status, which means that they have volunteered a certain amount of hours, they get this whole night party where they can be entered to win different raffle prizes like Kendra Scott earrings and things like that are all still Austin oriented, because at the end of the day, we are Austin Pets Alive. And so everything we do is still centered around Austin. In addition to that, we've been focusing really hard on making sure that our volunteers feel like they are a very integral part of our organization, because they are. And so our executive director, Dr. Ellen Jefferson, she tries to go out of her way to make sure that she gets to know our volunteers and lets them know that they are appreciated in every internal newsletter that we send out, in every communication she has with them. It's just really important that we make sure that they are uplifted and feel like they're part of this organization, because they're the backbone of it.
Yeah, that's so important, and it's so impressive the way you have, mobilized all these people across the city. And, as a volunteer, I've been added to that Facebook group.
Yes.
So it's really incredible to see that community grow just online. Have you seen a rise in the social media aspect of it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Like you mentioned, our Facebook groups, we have an Austin Pets Alive dog volunteers, cat volunteers, general volunteers, all different groups for our volunteers, as well as our social media is run by volunteers. So our Instagram is almost purely volunteer run. All of those Facebook groups are just like consistent areas to grow and develop within the APA volunteer community. And it's amazing because there's a new post like every 30 minutes, and it's just sharing volunteer stories, sharing cute photos of cats, or how a dog did really well on its walk this morning, and just little triumphs. It's really amazing. Social media has allowed us to kind of push forward as one big organization and one big happy family.
That's incredible. And I've seen actually a rise in the Instagram accounts for dogs.
Yes. So that's through our virtual foster program, which is that is a volunteer position to be a virtual foster, and it allows you to essentially advocate for a dog on social media, and it helps get them recognized. And so we have Instagram accounts for some of our longest stay dogs who have been here for 300 plus days. And so those Instagram accounts are volunteer run, and they're just trying to get a little bit more word out in the community about certain animals who have been maybe looked over a little bit.
That's so important. I mean, and I'm super passionate about it, which is why I wanted to talk to you. Austin Pets Alive is just such a special organization.
Well, thank you. So. We think so too. But it's all because of animals just like Janet.
How can people get involved if they're interested?
Yeah, you can get involved. Like I said, if you have an interest, we have a volunteer position for you. If we don't, we'll create it. Janet, ma'am. She's like, is there a squirrel? You see a squirrel? So you can get involved by going to our website. It's austinpetsalive.org. That's where you can find out how to adopt if you'd like to adopt a dog or a cat, how to foster if you want to foster a dog or a cat, or you can volunteer with us. And there are just such a multitude of opportunities for volunteering that we could use anyone's help who's interested in coming down and learning about us and helping us out.
That's great. I'm sure people will be interested.
I hope so.
Austin is such an animal-loving city.
Yeah.
So one thing we ask everybody on the Community Builder series is, what does community mean to you?
Community to me, in being here at Austin Pets Alive and interacting with these animals every day, community to me is the sense of belonging. And a lot of these animals wouldn't have felt like they belong otherwise. Every single animal that we have in our care was on a euthanasia list, and so they were told they don't belong in those shelters. And so to me, community is cultivating that sense of belonging and letting animals and people alike know that they're important and that they matter and that their lives matter and that they deserve a chance at happiness just like every other animal and every other human.
Love that. Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it, and it was such a pleasure to talk to you.
This was awesome, and I'm sure Janet is very happy too.
Janet, it was a true honor having you on.
She's perfect.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on the next episode.